from everything you've ever been told, pretty much, what you hear in the mainstream media, what you're told by mainstream medical authorities. And I'm not trying to pick a fight with anybody, I swear I'm not. But I've been looking at this far too long.
It was just great to have, Nora in Dubbo of all places.
What I've really enjoyed about bringing Nora out here to Dubbo is, we brought the world's expert on this to Dubbo, and people say, why Dubbo? Well, Dubbo is the hub of health. It's going to be the hub of health, and so I look forward to hearing the stories from people that have come along today.
Yeah. I think that's pretty well evident by the end of the day. Everybody was here about 3/4 an hour over a sugar and really lapping it all up. So, and positive stories about people getting, fixing their health, and people have already started this sort of lifestyle. So it's fantastic.
So there's 7 billion organisms in a healthy teaspoon of salt. And so when we think about that, there's 7 billion people on the planet that are relying on those organisms. And so that started a journey for me called Life in a Teaspoon, really having a look at human health, soil health, land health, and Nora provides a direct link right back to that.
It's important that Nora ended up in Dubbo. There's so many food intolerances and unhealthy people around that actually really don't know what's wrong with them, and they sort of need some sort of guidance and some sort of explanation as to the diet that they've been eating in the past, how it is physically damaging them, but there's a lot of ignorance around it. People don't really know, and Nora, being an expert on the paleo diet and having a very rational explanation as to how our modern foods have evolved, and not necessarily for our health benefits. As a world expert, she has a lot of credibility behind her, and a lot of common sense as well.
What brought me here was a link from a friend, and I've gained a bit of weight that I didn't want to gain at this stage in my life. However, I'm approaching 50, and that happens. But I didn't want to give in to that being the, oh well, this is 50. And so I'm really glad to have learned some of the things I've learned today, and was hoping to get back on eating properly. I'm already active enough, and so I'm really happy to be getting back to eating properly, and also wanting to glean some more information from hypnotherapy. A lot of my clients come for hypnotherapy, and weight loss is one of the areas that I have a lot of people come in for unwanted behavior. And so I'm going to use some of this really great information as part of personalizing scripts for people.
I've been ill for a couple of years. I got a Giardia infection, which caused all sorts of dramas in my body, and for the last couple of years I've been on a health kick, and I stumbled across the website, the Western A Price Foundation, and from there I just kind of, it opened up a whole new way of living and different ways of thinking, and we walk around telling people, but people really don't get it. They just don't get the concept through. You really have to live it through. You really have to get sick before you actually open that book, So that's what brought me here to see Nora, and because she's a promoter of Western A Price as well, and she's along the same.
To find out some more information, like I had, they found some cancer in me back in February, late January, and just a bit of follow-up for some information about everything, like about food and that.
Just an absolute desire to be healthy. Yes, and I'm following a GAPS diet, which is similar to paleo, and just very, very interested to see what was being said.
I suppose that bit of autism and stuff up there, like about helping your diet and that. Yeah, that was interesting. But no, it was good. Like a lot of stuff I've got online I've been out there, but it's just good to hear someone talk about.
It's fabulous. It's the information that's coming from this session today is amazing. The links between inflammation and autoimmune diseases, and the gluten factor as well, so the whole paleo thing makes a lot of sense to me.
I was impressed by the statistics she put out there. I knew it was important fat and meat, but I had no idea how important it is, you know. And being an ex-nurse, I could understand a lot of the concepts, and a lot went over my head though. It was pretty.
What a difference though, eating meat after all these people saying we
Yeah.
mustn't eat so much meat.
Yeah.
You know, we always used to eat meat 3 times a day.
I knew the sugar stuff, but it hit me at a deeper level, and the carb stuff was very interesting. It kind of just refined a bit of knowledge I had about gaps, I think.
One of the other things we were discussing is that our children are high athletes, so they do a lot of rowing, and rather than having carbs before they do their sporting activities, we should be talking about the protein.
Because the coaches in the school was telling them that they should be eating, that's the way they should be eating their carbs and their pastas.
Just going back to what I had originally known, and I think what all of us have originally known, that meat is okay, and the fats on meat is okay. So instead of cutting off our fat in our chicken and cutting off the fat in the steak, we need to leave it there because it's our natural dietary fat. It's going to actually help us to burn the calories that we need because it's going to use that as energy consumption. So, I mean, that is, you know, I just had a big yes, of course, I'm going back to it. I think that we fall into the patterns and the habits of our society, of the ads on TV, about what other people are saying and doing, and I think that a lot of our nutritionists do have the right information here. We just need to visit them more often, and how important it is to go back to grass-fed cattle because of everything that they're getting in the grass, which we don't get because we don't eat grass, but we get it through eating the meat from our cattle and other animals. I guess the opposite to that would be the grain-fed cattle.
One of the things that stood out to me today was like the meat portion things. That's something I wasn't doing right with the paleo lifestyle. But the thing I loved about the talk is that it brought together a lot of information that I already knew and had already do in my life, and it just made me really realise how important it is to keep doing those things and keep doing those changes, that they were the right choice to make. I've been gluten-free for a long time and I've been cutting out sugar, so see why that's so important and to make that change. Another thing that the thing that I really loved about her talk was the fact that it puts that link of where our food comes from, so back to the farm and how important soil health is, because I don't think a lot of people really understand how important soil is.
Very special.
It's amazing that she come to Dubbo. Out of all the places in Australia, she came to Dubbo. So
Very blessed, you know.
I'd be smart getting her when she doesn't go to Melbourne.
Oh, it could have been exactly. It could have been a little town somewhere else in Australia or not.
Good, like it's good that you can actually understand, like they can talk, and apart from the real big words,
There was
it's good communication like that. You can understand what she was saying.
Fantastic. It's very enlightening. It's certainly proving to generate some thought process.
Anyway.
Well worth a day of work. I wish we had more access to people like Nora here, especially out in the bush, but definitely in Australia. I'm really glad she came here.
One of the amazing things for me was when first someone suggested to me that I give up all grains. I mean, I love my cereal in the morning, I love my porridge in the morning, and that was about as foreign to me as being on the other side of the world. However, I guess I took on a challenge for 6 weeks to just give it a go. And over those 6 weeks, I saw a change in myself that I couldn't go back the other way. And I think the other thing about it is that I've experienced is, it's not about the weight loss, it's the feeling of health, the feeling of energy, the feeling that when I get out of bed in the morning and I have a good primal breakfast, some lamb chops and some salad, and you can go through the day. I mean, here I am at late in the afternoon, I really haven't eaten much since breakfast this morning. And I just feel healthy and great.
Heaps of energy, not craving things anymore. When you're hungry, it's usually like this morning. I had breakfast at 7 o'clock. What time is it now? It's 10 to 7, and I haven't had anything in between that. So then you can do that when you're on this sort of diet.
It's a hard learning curve because we grew up eating all those things.
It's nourishing tradition.
In my own health, I about 12 months ago read Nora's book, and also read a book on the serious effects on sugar on your health and lifestyle, and took up a lot of the principles, basically reducing sugar and a lot of the junk food that I would periodically eat. And it's a really interesting case. I left school 35 years ago, and for 34 of those years I've been the same weight, and I'm a very physically active person. I'm a farmer and also play a lot of sport, a lot of competitive sport, and being the same weight I thought was great, and I thought I was reasonably healthy. Reading these two books, taking the sugar out of my life, I've all of a sudden dropped 10 kilos in weight, and feel so much healthy for that. At one stage I thought, well, I must be sick or something, having just shedding this weight so quickly. But I feel so much better, and from an athletic point of view, running around or riding your bike with 10 kilos less makes a hell of a difference.
Meat is okay.
It's amazing. We need to address this because it's a worldwide epidemic and we need to sort it out now.
You know, without healthy soil, we won't be healthy and the planet won't be healthy.
With grass-fed cattle.
We should be listening to this before we get sick.